day at my house, and that's because I have these two super ugly bananas that most people would throw away. I keep them in a pretty bowl, and it sort of helps me to respect the bananas a little bit more. And if you can let them get to this really ugly point of ripeness, they're absolutely perfect for making these cookies that I'm going to do. These are called whole grain banana raisin cookies. They have no flour. They do have whole grains, cooked grains. There's no oil, no sugar. They're vegan, duh. They're gluten-free if that's the kind of grains you choose. And in spite of all of that, they're really super delicious. You know, I make a lot of really kind of goopy, decadent desserts, and I have a lot of fun with those, and I enjoy a good cupcake more than anybody does. But in reality land, most of what I like to eat around here, and Rick does too, are, you know, really healthy whole foods. And so even when I make treats and desserts, most often I try to make them out of real whole food. So that's what these are. This is our everyday go-to cookie, and I keep them around almost all the time. To make 1 dozen of these cookies, you need 1 very ugly banana. Make sure it's not rotten, just ripe, okay? So have that ready to go. The first thing you do is make 2 flax eggs. What's a flax egg? We've done this before. Are you keeping up? Okay. A flax egg is 1 tablespoon of ground flax meal, which you can grind yourself very easily in your blender or a little coffee grinder or a little spice grinder. It's a real easy thing. Inexpensive, great replacement for eggs. 1 tablespoon of flax meal plus 3 tablespoons of water. You mix it up, you put it in the refrigerator for 15 minutes, and then you take it out. So, eek! Didn't break anything. So I have already 6 tablespoons of water measured out here. I need 2 flax eggs, so I need to add to that 6 tablespoons 2 tablespoons of ground flax meal, which I made my very own self. Pour that in. This is a good reason to buy one of these darling little whisks. Whisk it up just like so. Put it in the refrigerator and let it sit there for 15 minutes. So while you're waiting for that, get the flax out of the way. Get the flax out of the way! Get your banana mashed up in the bottom of your bowl. That's a really squishy, yucky ripe banana. A fork will do. Just mash it up. It's about as easy as mashing gets. You want it pretty well mashed up because this has to incorporate itself through the entire mixture. This is what makes these cookies sweet, along with the raisins. And it helps hold them together along with the flax eggs, and it's a very important part of this. I think an underripe banana probably would not do the job as well. So be patient. Let your bananas turn ugly. Alright, that's done. Next up is the cooked grain. I cooked some quinoa today, and actually I accidentally dropped in the spoon and cooked the spoon too. We won't be putting that in the cookies. Okay, you need 2 cups of cooked grain. You can use quinoa like I'm doing here, or you can use cooked rice or millet or amaranth or barley or buckwheat. You get the point, right? Any kind of cooked grain that you like to use. I love quinoa because it cooks really fast. It takes only about 25 minutes here, even at this ridiculous high altitude of 7,000 feet. And because it's a complete protein, so that makes these cookies even that much better for you. So 2 cups of cooked grain. Rid of the fork. Toss in a 1/2 cup of shredded unsweetened coconut, a 1/2 cup of raisins. Mix that up a bit. Go to the magic refrigerator where time has lapsed and warped and 15 minutes have gone by and I have a flax egg. These are all done. See how thick and goopy it gets? It's really cool. It acts just like an egg in binding baked goods together almost all the time. I love this trick. You can't scramble it. You can't make an omelet out of flax eggs. There are other things for that. We'll talk about that later. But for this, it's just perfect. Stir that in a little bit. Now add some spices. We need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Here's my salt. And 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. If you're a real spice fiend, add more spices. I don't care. Cardamom is really good in these. And then I use 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You can use more cinnamon if you're very cinnamony by nature. That's it for that. Now give it a good stir. Stir, stir, stir. Stirring. Here's what's happening. Looks good, right? Once everything's all mixed up, it's time to put it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. This works better than oiling it, plus it eliminates oil. You could also use a silicone baking mat on this, but I just like the parchment. It's nice and slick and everything comes off. So I like to use a 1/4 cup measuring cup and measure out hopefully 12 cookies. Sometimes I don't get quite that many, or sometimes I get more. Perfect. Okay, and then shape them and flatten them a little bit because they aren't going to rise or spread or do anything while they're baking. They're just going to be the way you shape them. So you don't want them too thick like that, or it'll take them even longer than they already take to cook, and they take a long time. Okay, good enough. They're all on the pan. I have 12 on my parchment lined baking sheet. I'm going to put these in the oven at 350 for 50 minutes. 50 minutes. It takes that long because they're really dense and moist. I'll be back. You want to know what I'm doing while I wait? I'm having a salad. Here's my lunch. Have yours too. We'll come back for cookies in a little bit. It's cookie time. Aren't they pretty? I'm going to put them on slide them off here onto a cooling rack. And basically they're done. I love these. They're a little too hot to eat right now. Give them a few minutes. But I love them. Rick loves them. Our little 2-year-old grandson loves them. This is such a good food to feed to kids. Real food for real kids. Don't give them crap. Feed your kids real food. Feed yourself real food. Everybody wins. Okay, enjoy the cookies. See you later. Bye.